when I was being threatened with 5,000 USD on my head because I was working for this millionaire dude, and I made his website, and then it turned out he was a scammer. So I took everything away from him, took away the access, and he got so mad that he was like, I'm gonna kill this dude, I'm gonna kill his mom.
I actually remember that because I got a message from him. Hey, do you know where Seyed is? I will give you money for it. I was like, well,
yes.
Hey, Seyed, what are you doing? And it was actually so interesting too, man. You were all the way in Bali. And it's actually interesting because I've seen you in how many different countries by now?
Wow, we went to Rome, we went to Mallorca,
Spain.
And so
Italy, Spain.
Italy and Spain. Indonesia, where we met.
Bali, let's go.
Bali, let's go. Cape Town, South Africa.
Right here,
right now. In the Netherlands, we can't forget that, of course.
That is the most important one.
And I've also been to other countries, but we haven't met in the other countries. Like, for example, Mexico and Thailand, we haven't met in those countries.
You've been traveling the world. And then to begin that you started as a cheeky little student, shooting me a DM back in the day when I used to have the course in Holland. And you literally shot me a DM with a video where you were completely bald, by the way.
I know.
Not looking at your finest. You're doing a lot better now, by the way. Just so you know. And he shoots me a video saying, hey, I'm Seyed. I want to be your assistant. And I want to get into your course for free. And, well, that basically never happened.
And then he called me up and he closed me to pay him money to get into the course and become his assistant. Oh my God!
This is how I do. So Hannah, for you, this is his assistant. You're doing it wrong. He should pay you. Oh, sorry, wait.
No, you should pay. No, I'm doing it wrong.
Oh wait,
I'm doing it wrong.
Never mind. Sorry, skip that.
If there's anything I should have learned from Rabin is that if people want to come and work for you, make them pay you first.
Hey, and it worked. It actually worked.
I'm damn happy that I paid him because that investment turned into 100,000 plus later.
100,000 plus later. Look at that man. Look at this man plugging any course I'm ever gonna sell again.
It's good. It's good.
No, but here's the thing, right? Like before you came in, you were just you. You were actually you're a fucking doctor, right?
Well, officially I'm a fourth year master student in medicine, so I'm a Bachelor of Science is the official title I have. But in 2 years I'll be a doctor. Yes.
In 2 years, you'll be a doctor. You're actually going to go back. So this is the one thing that really inspires me about you, right? This man is making a shit ton of money. He's making over 5 figures a month. And he's just living his best life, traveling around the world. And he decides to go back to become a doctor again. And I mean, if you're already traveling the world, having the freedom of your life, and then you just decide, you know what? I'm just going to finish my doctor's degree, which I kind of understand, but say, what the fuck?
I know, it sounds insane because in the beginning, when I started taking your mentorship, the reason I did it is because I was fed up with going to the university. I was not feeling happy. I was not feeling fulfilled. And I saw your happy face on like this Instagram ad, and I got so inspired. I went into your funnel. For everyone that's listening that doesn't know, like a marketing funnel is basically wide at the top, small at the bottom. People come in and you convert at the end. So I didn't know any of this. I learned all of that through Rabin and like through the course and everything. But I watched your webinar, and you told your story about how you was making money with sales, how you could do that location independent, how you could buy your dream car. You were younger than I was.
I still am, by the way.
You always will be.
I've never overtaken you.
But I was so impressed, and then I thought, I'm a smooth guy, I'm a smart guy, I'm like a dedicated guy. Let me try to pitch this master salesman to get in his course for free after I watched the webinar.
And so he didn't. Long story short, though, like I remember you coming into the course, you were very insecure, and before you know it, this man is just living his dream. And the one thing that I really like about people, like definitely back in the day, right? Like nowadays, I'm not as much invested into this whole course scene and trying to give one-on-one mentorship. But like back then, bro, I was so invested with every single person that came in because we asked like a shit ton of money too. But anyway, I remember you coming in, you was an insecure guy. You were just like talking to people was very off. You were way more feminine than you are now. You've like grown even balls under that shit. And the transformation you went through, you even got a girlfriend after that. You started making money. You started implementing not only the things that literally said, but you saw opportunities to do things with the skill set you actually taught yourself.
Agreed.
Because people usually are like, hey, this is what Raven says. Go out, find a product, sell it to other people, do it. And you're like, okay, wait a minute, I can do this, but I just learned this technique, and now I can do it for my own company.
Yeah.
And that is where you exceeded. Instead of just looking at it from the first layer, you're going to actually implement the things that you've learned and put it for yourself, which is mad interesting. I mean, when is the moment you started actually making bank without selling other people's products but your own? What is your own? Let's start with that.
Okay, yeah, sure. Since I was 11 years old, I've been very interested in computers and graphic design, and I was doing like bits and pieces of like logo design or websites. Back in the day, my skills were not even that much far from where they are right now, but the moment I learned how to implement sales and influence in when I speak to clients, when I offer my services to someone, to ask the right questions, to listen to their needs, these are like core principles that you taught me. Then I started making bank. It wasn't because I was selling your course or someone else's course or selling for people. When I started selling myself using the techniques and strategies that I learned from you, that's when I went like,
It's mad, bro. It's mad. What are like the main takeaways that I've actually that you're still carrying with you nowadays?
mindset is number one. I used to be so terrified to speak to someone that I didn't know and ask them money. Like my whole psychology around money and asking money or asking a price, like if I thought 2,000 euros was too much, I would be like, yeah, so it's 2,000 euros and you get this and this and this. But now it's like, oh, you want to have a landing page? That's going to be at least 4.4K.
Yeah.
And then I pause.
So the confidence has really struck you.
Yeah, just like
in the meantime. So your mindset has really shifted, but your mindset has shifted over and over and over again, and that's basically anything that you do. Because I've seen you in 7 different Seyeds. We're at level 7 right now, but like there have been 6 levels before us that I've met you, and you're still on your next one, right?
That's true.
And the thing with mindset is that people don't realize is that, okay, you keep on evolving, but you never stop growing. It keeps on getting to a point. And the second you start telling yourself that you've reached the highest level, you're fucking wrong. Or, well, you're right, but you're wrong because you still have levels to go. You got to keep on evolving and growing.
How do you see yourself? What level did Rabin reach compared to the first time we met until now? Because you were also a certain person and you changed a lot.
I feel like mindset is like a skill tree. It's not necessarily like a linear line, but it just branches out in like different types of places you want to go to. So it's a funny analogy actually, but
what did you put your perk points into?
So yeah, okay.
What branch did you go in?
So so my mindset branch used to be very money orientated, until I made a lot of money and realized that money wasn't really the way I wanted to be orientated, because I'd see that the people that were maybe a few levels higher in me in the money were not as necessarily that well developed in the happiness skill tree. So I was like looking and seeing these people being fucking miserable and seeing that the only thing they could talk about was money. The only thing they could really bear with were all of these like bullshit things and materialistic things that nobody actually cares about except the people around them that are poor. So, I started changing. And my mindset changed after I sold all of my luxury stuff. My mindset actually changed immediately when I started giving more and seeing that my purpose really lays in giving stuff to people. Because that gives me happiness, that gives me fulfillment, that gives me purpose. And the more ways I can find to give is the more ways I also try to find other things in my mindset. So yeah.
Yeah, you seem way more humble than before, and I actually know this, that you don't care as much about money anymore.
I mean, you should care about money,
but as much as you did before.
So the thing is, the ways I care about money are different than the ways I used to care before. Before it was like, I need to have money for any egotistical reason ever. And now the only reason I want money is to be able to give and take care of the people around me. So it's a completely different attention that I have with money. Sure, money is still important, but I just don't care about flexing on people with my money. That's the only difference. Why would I do that if I can help so many other people out with that?
And the number 2 thing that just popped up, so mindset being the first, the number 2 thing that I learned from the whole experience with you is your network. The people you associate with. I was hanging around with the wrong people. And the moment I stepped into the secret skill, there was a bias. Like there's a level of entry, a barrier of entry. Only people that were willing to invest certain amount of money into themselves, they would be in this group. and no one else. Meaning that all of them had to have a certain mindset. They had to be of a certain caliber. They had to be a certain.
Can I disagree with you a little bit, even though this is my own course I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's not only about the money that they had to invest to get in there. Everybody was there with the same purpose. The purpose was, I want to develop myself and learn how to travel the world and da 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 da.
A freedom.
Freedom, sure. And everybody came in with that same purpose. So back in the day, I don't know what kind of friends you had, but probably joint smoking, jerking friends. And I feel like that has changed a lot since the days, right?
It has.
So
now I have Wim Hof breathing, like ice bath taking friends.
exactly.
You know?
People back in the day would used to tell you, Seyed, uppie, I'm not really sure if you should do this, man. If you do this, you might fail. If you do this, oh man, you're gonna give up your health degree. You're gonna do that. And now people are like, yo, man, yeah, keep going. You can
like,
make so
yo,
much.
you killed it. How did you do that?
Wait. You didn't kill it, bro. You can go way further, man. What are you doing? Keep on rising.
Yes,
you see,
you're right.
The difference
You're
is
right.
that you now have motivating, inspiring people around you instead of deflating people. Like these people used to flame you for doing something. The only thing they can talk about is shit about you and other people, in your face, out your face, whatever. And it's completely not inspiring and motivating you. And it's something like a lot of people still struggle with because they just can't find the right circles to live in or to work in. Or
Yeah, your support system is so important because everybody around me was from like, oh, can you or should you or you better not, to yes, you can and you can do even more and I support you and I believe in you and I see that. And that alone will change so much about you. So if you are right now in a circle of people where you think, when you say something, I want to be ambitious, I want to have a successful company, I want to travel the world, and they say that you can't or you shouldn't, just be aware that's a red flag, because now I know there can be people around you that are going to look for all the reasons why you can instead of looking for all the reasons why you can't.
If you hang around with monkeys, your life becomes a zoo. If you hang around with birds, you're gonna fly high with them.
Hey.
And very smart analogy. Freedom Society, join it now. So,
Break free, fly away. Stay grounded, stay with the monkeys.
So fucking dumb.
Stay grounded, stay with the monkeys. Rise to heaven, fly with the birds.
Nah, but you know what the most hilarious thing of this all is, right? You used to pay me to get your coaching, and in the meantime, you've developed so much. You've built your own websites and whatever, and at some point, you decide to just randomly come to Cape Town because I'm here, and you visit me, and suddenly there's like this idea. We want to do something back for the world. We want to make this community that we're making right now. And I'm like, I need a website. So now I'm fucking paying you, paying this motherfucker.
Full circle.
To work with me.
Hey, remember when you didn't give me free access, right?
I'm right here, bro. You can just put
I know. But, like,
but yeah, no.
yeah, it's full circle. I used to pay you to work with you, to be with you, to learn from you.
Yeah.
And now you're basically paying me to work with you.
Same thing.
So, yeah.
Different shoes, but you're getting paid for.
Yeah, how the tables have turned.
Yeah, shit. I might need to talk to Henna. But
Don't talk to her. Like keep him small. No, I'm kidding. She would probably benefit a lot from what you have to learn.
Anyone can benefit from just growing in general, because most people lack the fact that they are putting themselves in a position to develop themselves. It's like something we talked about before, right? Nobody really looks at themselves. Nobody really reflects with themselves. Nobody takes a good look in the mirror. Sure, we take a good look in the mirror, but we don't take a look in the mirror. We don't put a phone away, sit 1 hour with ourselves, having a conversation and looking at the points that we're good at or bad at, just to develop it, right? That's the thing we were talking about.
Having that conversation with yourself, that's what you talked about a lot. And this is, I think, point 3 as well. 1 being mindset, 2 being people and network and like who you have around you, but 3 definitely habits. The moment I stepped into the secret skill, I changed my daily routine from waking up, being sluggish, scrolling on my phone and stuff, to waking up and directly going to the computer, doing 30 minutes of your course, doing the assignments immediately after. I would go to the supermarket and pitch to like the manager or something.
You actually did that?
You actually did that.
Okay,
Do you
good.
remember in the Facebook group, I was like training and I would like with my bald
Yeah, yeah,
hair
yeah, yeah, I
still
remember- I
growing
remember
back,
that,
and
yeah.
like it was COVID times, right? So
Yeah.
the timing of when you came into my life was impeccable because I was feeling society or my life isn't what it can be or what it's supposed to be. Some people out there know certain things that I don't, and their life is amazing, and mine just isn't where it's at. And then because of COVID, you had to stop going to the uni. Everybody had to go inside. You get this time. All of the restaurants are closed. All of the clubs are closed. There's no distractions anymore. And then what happened? Then I see your happy face. And then I started building a new routine because you taught me about meditation. You taught me about journaling. You taught me about doing 30 minutes or 40 or 60 or 90 or like dedicating time to self-study.
Sure.
To studying a course or something that you want to get good at. So that was the basis of my transformation.
And let me just tell you one thing straight. All of the things that you have in your life right now are not to thank to me. It's thank to yourself.
You opened the door?
I opened the door, you step through it. But the reason I'm saying this is because you have always been this motivated to make a change. Whether it was an excruciating pain of something or it was some goal at the end of the rainbow, either way, it was enough reason for you to actually take those steps through the door. And you were dedicated. And this is something that everybody needs to know. Okay, sure, 30 minutes a day doesn't sound like a lot, but you still have to do it. You still have to be consistent to take those 30 minutes each day to self-dev yourself, to look at the course, to look at anything.
It was more like an hour or 1.5.
Okay, whatever,
But, you
but-
know, like that's how you got me to start. And I think that's also important for people to know. Whenever you feel like, okay, reading a book for 20 minutes a day or like half an hour is really difficult, just make the steps so simple that you say, I'm just going to read 10 pages or I'm going to read 5 pages. Because the moment you start doing it, like after 30 minutes were done for my thing, I was so in it.
That you kept going, kept
Exactly.
going, kept going. And repetition is the most important thing. Listen, we're here talking about our course, but it doesn't have to be our course. It doesn't have to be our community. It's like whatever thing you do, whatever book it is, whatever way it is that you want to self-dev, people don't realize that if you just focus on yourself and see in what places you lack one certain thing, and you start focusing completely every single day for a few minutes on that, within a month, you've achieved insanely unthinkable. But just focusing every single day on that one particular thing. And that's what people don't do. Listen, look at how much growth you've had, how much books you've read by now by just starting with those 10 pages. And bro, look at you now, man. Look at you smiling.
Life's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nah, bro, it's insane to see how much you've grown as a person. It's insane to see how much happier you seem, how much happier you show yourself to the world while also enjoying the most beautiful things of life. And, you know, everybody still, of course, has some demons inside of them. Most of the time, what you have to do with that, too, is still being able to reflect. Like I say, you're level 7, but you're still level 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, or 16. It's just about you knowing when it's time to level up. And as long as you're very conscious about it, and you know that you want to level up, you know you've reached that little bit of plateau, that barrier that you want to break the fuck through, then reflect, connect, and go. Because you will break through that level if you're fully aware that it's time to level up.
And I've noticed that in order to level up, it's more often letting go of something than adding something extra to level up.
You'd be surprised, yeah. Yeah, that's actually true.
Oftentimes it's like letting go some part or some thought or idea that you had before. That's how I've been leveling up for so far, right? Like I always had to let go like some limitation.
It's about unlearning, not learning.
Yeah.
You, me, everybody still has some limiting beliefs on a lot of things. And it's about you being able to conquer those limiting beliefs in order to make them empowering and going through.
Another thing, you gave me the language of self-development.
The language of I even don't know what
The
you mean.
language of self-development, it's, okay, how do you
Oh,
talk?
wait, I got you.
Limiting beliefs, growth mindset. Dat is een beperkende gedachte. We made memes.
That's a limiting belief. Oh wait, I got
We
you.
made memes.
in the group.
Because nobody in society talks in a way like, oh, I don't think I can do that. Nobody says like, that's limiting
Bro,
belief.
I didn't give you the
language of self-development.
I just gave you not the language of self-development. I just learned you how to think consciously. It's I mean, that's also how you look at it.
It is like you need to put some concepts in words,
Sure.
right?
You are
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
right with that. It starts with living consciously, though, because most people don't even realize that they have a language of, talking themselves down.
Yeah, there's self-talk.
Their self-talk is usually, man, I hate my life, man, this work sucks, man, I'm broke,
I don't
man,
deserve this.
I'm not even worth my own mom. Anyway, so all of this stuff, these are people that are just not conscious. They let their life, they basically step into a roller coaster and are complaining about the fact that the roller coaster is going every single day. But what they don't realize is that they can simply just step out of the roller coaster and just take the steps themselves. And I mean, I get it, back in the day, you just used to learn what your parents, the friends, and everybody around you are doing. You're in friend groups that are complaining about how their life sucks, how their work sucks, how their joint wasn't that great that evening, how they fucked that ugly-ass looking girl that night and are complaining about the STD that they caught. Every little fucking thing is a complaint, and they just don't really think about anything. But here's where the change comes. Here's where you change and everybody else change that is into self-development and into just reading any of this stuff. The second you realize that you can change your thoughts if you are living consciously, that's the moment you will grow insanely.
Another big takeaway, very, very, very big, because as you know, we've talked about my parents a little bit. So I come from a very religious family and a very closed-minded family. So as in, when I bought the course, I kept it a secret. I didn't want my parents to know that I paid money for it. As slowly the success was coming, I kind of admitted to them, yeah, I'm actually paying to learn all of this. And they're like, huh, how much are you paying? And then when I mentioned what the price was, back then it wasn't even, to me, back then it was a lot of money, €1,000 divided over 3 payments. That was already whoa, that's a lot of money for a broke-ass student like me.
Sure.
But I realized that if at any point they were giving me slack or critique or talking down to me or being negative, I would just look at them and I'd say, Mom, do you think you live the life that I aspire to? And that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of parents, right? But at least it gave me the freedom for her to realize, no, I don't think you want to become an Afghan housewife with no education or diploma, like in the Netherlands, complaining to her kid, to his kid about you're not being Muslim enough, right?
Yeah.
So she realized, no, I don't think you aspire to be like me. And then I asked her with the follow-up question. And this is another thing. I don't say to her, Mom, you're not living the life I want. I asked her the question, do you think I want? And then I asked the follow-up, right? Because she has to give the answer. That's influence, social engineering.
Sure.
I was engineering her. And then I say, so Mom, do you think I should follow your advice if I don't want to live a life like yours?
And what did she say?
She's like, error, 404. And then, no, I'm like, so Mom, do you think Rabin lives a life that I would aspire to? Like, yeah, obviously you want to be like him. Obviously you think his success and his wealth and his fancy cars and everything, and also the him being a content creator, being a good speaker. Yeah, I understand that you want to be like him.
Did you actually show the stuff that you were doing to your mom?
Hell no. Not for the longest. Not
Really?
for the, my parents, at one point, I was doing these calls. So first you learn, and then you build confidence, then you practice.
Sure.
You do cold calls, you do...
Bro, I actually remember somewhere in the Facebook group me telling you, yeah, you gotta just pitch your parents. I
followed.
I actually just realized.
This guy said, if you follow word for word what I tell you, you will be successful. I took that to so literal.
And you actually achieved it. But you know what the thing is with what you're saying? It's you take their advice, you take their life. So for any person you take their advice of, they are giving you answers based from every decision that they have made. So everything they are telling you is based off their life experience. So basically, if you want to have the life of the person you're talking to, you just listen to what they have to say. If that's my parents, in my case, I would not listen to them. Same as you, because I don't want to have the life they have. You don't want to have the life they have. But if a multimillionaire is coming in your street, you're looking at his Porsche that's parked in front of the door, I'm going to ask the man questions.
I let go and I leveled up. Just what I said before. I was holding on to the fact that, I'm discovering this new method of doing things in life, and it's improving my life. I'm feeling happier, I'm healthier, I'm more active, more productive, and more successful. But I was still holding on to, my parents have to agree with everything I do. And then at one point, you unlock this door for me that, that's not the life you want, right? So why would you follow their advice? And if there's someone else that you aspire to, a pro athlete, a tech giant, a millionaire, a speaker, a YouTuber, why don't you just follow their advice because they have walked the walk?
Are you doing the same thing with your medicine right now? Because you are going to finish your medicine.
Yes.
You have your plans. Do you aspire to be like a different kind of doctor?
100%.
What is the thing you actually do? Because, all right, cool, your level is now 7. You're going to probably be level 8 or 9 by the time you leave here with your mindset growing. But doctors say it. What is this plan? What are you doing with that?
Yes. So in the beginning, it was really go to medicine because I wanted to make my parents proud. And I wanted to have a good position in society. I wanted to have enough money to take care of myself and my family. If you take away all of that, so I didn't have to care about making my parents proud anymore because I understand that if I make myself proud, they will be proud by themselves. So it's not for that anymore. For the money also, no, because with making these websites, I'm making more money than a surgeon. And, I don't ever need to go back to medicine to have a good job, right? So then you kind of start thinking and wondering about okay, what is life truly about? And you had us write down a vision. And in my life before I met you, I was 23, 24 years old. Now I'm 27. I think I was 24, yeah?
Congratulations. His birthday was 2 days ago. We went to safari.
Peep the safari, it was lit.
Anyways, right?
And for the first time in my life, I sat down and I had to imagine, and it was one of the assignments you gave us. If money or time or space or people were no issue, what would your ideal life look like? And my ideal vision was me being someone that developed cyber technology for healthcare. I would want to become a cyber surgeon. I would want to have bionic arms and legs that I could give.
I remember this, yeah.
Yeah. And this was, I had never had a North Star like that after the vision. So that happened, that vision, and I found out what I wanted to do. I discovered that if I want to scale my business, I need to be full-time in it, not half-half, because medicine is a very tough full-time stuff. And then I took the time, I called up the uni, and I always had the plan to return, but I called the uni and I asked them, hey, and this is another thing. You taught me that everything I want in life, someone else has. You only need to learn how to ask for it. Yeah. So instead of thinking, oh, I have a binary choice of no medicine or no business, I thought, what if I could have it both? So I called them up and I asked them, could I leave medicine for 2 years and then come back? And they just say, yes, actually, you have the diploma, you have the all the credentials. You can just quit and then just reinstate after 2 years. A lot of people take a gap year between their bachelor and the master. Yeah. You can do that too. And then it eureka. I'm like, okay, I go away, I travel the world while I'm still young, while I'm still in my 20s, and I achieve all my dreams, I fulfill myself, I build my business, I make new contacts, make new networks, and now I work with multi-millionaires and famous people, and and then I come back and I finish medicine and I continue my vision because I need to learn more skills than just medicine. I need to learn marketing. I need to learn influence. I need to learn technology. I need to develop these. So that's what I said. It was my personal education. And now when I go back, it is simply because on my deathbed, when I look back on my life and know that I got so close to finishing medicine, 4 years in, 2 left, I would deeply regret it if I didn't become a doctor. Because the skills, because of how much you can help people, because of how worthy and valuable you can be to others. When the plane crashes, they're not gonna scream, or when somebody gets hurt, they're not gonna say, is there a graphic designer here? Is there a website maker here? They're gonna say, is there a doctor here? And then I'll be the one to stand up and say, yes, there is. How can I help you?
Kind of, in 2 years.
Inshallah. yeah, soon enough.
This is so beautiful. Right?
But here's the thing.
So is your goal still okay, let's imagine a beautiful day happened. You went back to college, you finished your kooschappa, you became Dr. Habibi Seyed. You've grown your beard twice as long. You've done your own hair implants by that time. You are the most amazing doctor of the world. So what then? What is your next plan?
Contribution.
What is the contribution?
I'm from Afghanistan, and as a lot of people know, whenever you say I'm from Afghanistan, people are like, ooh. The place where they blow up kids? Yes, that place.
That was kind of graphic.
But it is the truth.
Okay, cool.
Unfortunately, like it saddens me every day, and I'm devastated by all the trauma, all the pain, all the war, all the stuff that's going. And I'm not saying like other people don't have it bad. I just feel like because I'm from there and I got to escape that, I have to do something about it to heal it.
Which is also a very interesting short story that you might want to share. You literally have fled from a war-torn, bombed country as a kid, and right now you're becoming almost a doctor and you're making 5 figures a month.
Yeah.
Which is like, hold on. Can we take a second?
Rewind. What?
Can we just take a fucking second to just make people realize that if you still have an excuse right now that you can't make it, this is literally an Afghan refugee that came from a fucking war-torn country.
Didn't speak Dutch.
Didn't speak Dutch, and he comes in, fucking blows everybody away. Well, not that way. And he makes it possible to make 5 figures a month and travel the world. If you still have an excuse and you have a normal paying job, you are still in a normal place. What is your excuse? Seyed is a fucking G, and he's a doctor in 2 years. You should be fucking proud, grateful about your life. Look at you, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Putting it like that, I never really realized that how much I've achieved so far. Yeah,
brother, I have to make myself feel a little bit like you to be able to achieve the things that I do. I know my dad is from a country where all his friends got killed around him. I was not there. I didn't step foot there. My mom got pregnant in Holland. I was always safe. So I can't even imagine how it would be to be in that kind of danger. Well, I mean, all I can do is imagine. I know that the chance would have been this big, or I would not even exist. I'm nature's greatest miracle. You know it. And so are you.
I am nature's greatest miracle.
Exactly. So you have actually witnessed it, even though you were a kid.
Yeah.
So the amount of hunger you should have, of gratefulness, to be able to work every single fucking day to get to the point you are now, it makes sense.
Yes. I think it goes 2 ways. I think whenever we experience something, whether it's anxiety or excitement, it's the same thing, right?
100%.
So this trauma, or like this being from a war-torn country, being smuggled for 2 years, I've saw 3 prisons before I was 5 years old, like the craziest stuff, 3 refugee camps in the Netherlands. Like when you see that, you can take it 2 ways, because a lot of Afghan people like me, they take it the other way.
Sure, they go on a criminal path, they start stealing bicycles, and
they're like, I hate the world,
Yeah.
I hate everyone, I hate the government, because look at what happened in my life. Or you can take that same energy and you can say like, because this happened, because this is what I had to go through, I'm gonna make sure nobody ever has to go through this again.
Why is it that the hero and the villain story are almost identical? It's just about how they decide to make their decisions. And this is the same with you. You chose the hero's path, but you can also just still use the villain path, right? You can still choose the villain's path. It's all about you. This is your life you're living in. This is your faith you have in your own hands. And now you're still a little bit in between. I know you. But you're more and more going towards the hero path, because you know, I see what you're doing. You've always taken care of people. You want to become a doctor. You still have this fire in you. Everything comes together into you following the path of the hero. Whilst you could also become the villain.
The villain. And the hero's path is always more difficult to take. It's that,
It is.
you know, the villain is ready to kill his enemy. The hero, he beats him, knows he has every reason to kill him, but then spares him.
He is magnanimous.
He is magnanimous. Magnanimous.
Magnanimous. So the thing with magnanimous, right? This is just a little side story. Then we go for it. What I'm doing right now every day is I'm trying to learn 3 new extra English words to improve my English. Magnanimous was one of those, which basically means being like, what the fuck? I don't even know. That what we just explained. That was magnanimous. Okay, that was magnanimous.
Like being greater, being good.
So when you are super hungry, you haven't eaten all day, and there's one cookie left, and you give it to your sister. That's being magnanimous. And being the hero in your own story, and being able, even though you can kill your enemy, sparing the enemy in defeat, that's also being magnanimous. Anyway, going back, you're the hero of your story. And we can all agree that you are.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to give like develop the technology for the West, sell them to big hospitals in the West, and then
you
use
already-
that money to pro bono give surgeries to kids and people in Afghanistan that could never afford it. That's kind of
Oh,
the
that was
vision.
the story. Okay, you
Yeah,
didn't
that
finish the
was the
story.
vision.
Yeah, okay,
No,
okay.
no worries.
No, but because also the other thing is that you have actually have made a website for people for You don't want to talk about it?
Yes, I do want to talk about that because that's going to be one of my focuses when I continue. So I have two companies. One's called MedLife, which is all about the medical lifestyle. One's called WebLife, which is all about the website lifestyle, right? So with WebLife, I've come to a point where I have designers. I have I'm basically just doing sales and client management. My team can, if I sort it out a little bit more, it can do almost everything automatically, and I can just make the deals and get the money. So I have more free time.
Great.
With that free time, I want to use all of the skills: content creation, public speaking, sales, course creation, Notion. Like, guys, Notion, we're gonna put you onto some crazy stuff of productivity, habit tracking,
Notion is sick.
journaling,
Get
database.
Notion. Notion is great. Notion. Okay.
Not sponsored, by the way, but user affiliate link.
We'll make an affiliate link right now.
We have to make
Wait,
it.
did they actually have affiliate
They
links?
do, they
Okay,
do, they
great,
do.
Great. In that case, Notion.
But,
don't click on Notion if you don't have an affiliate link, by the way. Only
So as entrepreneurs, you always get the first access. Like you're always looking to solve problems, to solve them more quickly, right?
Sure.
And in my travels, I've come across so many entrepreneurs, and they were all using similar tools like ChatGPT as an AI, Midjourney as an AI for
As
images.
AI, yeah, okay.
And but Notion for management. You've got things like Airtable, Slack, Webflow, and a lot of these skills can actually be used by everyday people, everyday jobs. So knowing this knowledge because you're an entrepreneur, you can go ahead and create courses. You can create small little things you can sell or give for free to people to teach them more valuable things. And this is what with MedLife. It's a platform that I started to solve a problem for myself. I had no anatomy books because I was a broke-ass student. I couldn't afford to pay my anatomy books. And instead, I found this website where you can take these images.
Is that because you spent all your money on a course?
No, it was because I was always broke. And
Okay,
for all the other kids, a lot of the times their parents gave them extra money or something
I
like
mean,
that.
med school is quite expensive, isn't it?
Yes, it kind of is. But
Yeah.
also, if you're a student and you don't have
Stiffy.
good mindset, budgeting, all of that, Stufy is like €1,000 a month. I was living on €1,000 a month, and
Okay.
half of it was going to my rent on a student campus in a shitty shared student campus, right?
Yeah, okay, I hear you.
So it was to make ends meet. I was like, okay, I need the rest of this money for groceries, and other bad things like alcohol or drugs or something if I was going to party to forget how depressing my situation was.
Your parents will love this podcast.
I mean, I love them. They know me, but I'm a lot better now. I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke anymore. So.
Keep going. I mean,
So anyhow, I solved this problem by creating a website or finding a website and then categorizing and putting all of these anatomy items and making people learn them online. And that was me giving value. So for years, this site has been free and people had to sign up to get access to this. But it was so valuable. Every year, hundreds of students were signing up to the point that now we have over 3,200 students that are all either studying medicine or dentistry or something else where they need to know anatomy using the website. So I've built this community passively while I was building my website business, my agency.
something just realized, right? How long does usually a med student go through?
6 years.
6 years. So you've been holding on these these students for like 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
So you basically have 4 years of expiry date left.
No, this is the thing. Every year, hundreds of new students come in.
Okay, yeah.
So this is like an evergreen business because the world is never
And
going
it's going
to
to get bigger and exponentially going to grow. You're going to have more people around there. So if you ever wanted to be a doctor or want to become a doctor, go to his website.
MedLife.
MedLife.nl.
.nl.
Oh, shit.
With a Y.
Wait, is it actually in English or is it completely Dutch?
No, actually, this is the thing. All of it is just in Dutch. So if I make it international, make some stuff about it.
Should we cut this out? Because this is kind of a good idea and I don't want other people to steal it.
I don't think any other people could steal it as quickly because they would have by now.
That's fair.
You know, like in medicine, there's like us entrepreneurs, we think of ideas, we go and execute them.
Sure.
Medical students don't give a fuck about helping other medical students.
Their whole point is, yo, I'm gonna go study as a medical.
No, listen.
People study to help people, but they don't want to help other people.
Yes, but they want to be the one that is helping.
Yeah, but you are.
No,
look at you. You are
no.
actually helping.
Yes, of course, but they want to be the one that other people are dependent of. I want to be the doctor. Let's imagine you go into a kitchen and there's two chefs and they argue about how the dish should be cooked. That's not going to work, right?
No, of course not.
So they're in a doctor, they want to be the chef. They want to be like, I see my patients, I tell them what to do. People can go for a second opinion.
You know what the worst thing about the whole med system is? The fact that they're only looking at the problem that you have instead of preventing it. The one thing that, sorry that I'm like interrupting your whole story for this, but like, this is something that have always been nagging on me. Why is the whole med system working? You're a fucking doctor. You should know this. Okay, oh, I'm feeling sick. All right, you're feeling sick. Well, here you have a medicine to feel a lot better. And now you're feeling better. But tomorrow you're going to get sick again. But instead of like looking at, hey, here do you have something to prevent how you're going to get your sickness. This is something how you can prevent anything for that matter, right? This is what Japan is doing. Japan is working as we speak just to fix and prevent any other disease instead of just giving you a quick fix. And this is something you can be revolutionary in too, because you are a med student, you are going to be a doctor. If you can work on something to create that for people, it's going to be insane.
Preventative medicine is definitely something like a lot of doctors and a lot of people now especially are focused on. But the problem is the alternative is a little too good, as in like, if you become a surgeon, which is like surgery is like the last thing you want to do, right? So before you cut into someone, before you hammer into someone,
like that, yeah.
You want to give them like good drinking, good food habits, exercise, sleep, all of that, right?
The whole pharmaceutical industry is just making money off of it.
Exactly, because what happens with one surgery? You have an anesthesiologist, you have a surgeon, you have all this equipment, medical equipment. So the business of sickness is way more profitable than the business of prevention.
Exactly.
And health.
That is the most messed up thing. Even like they do it as kids, like labeling on, oh gosh, bro, like they're labeling kids with ADD, ADHD.
Giving them medication.
They give them medication.
And like, yeah.
Bro, even kids right now with gender dysphoria, they're giving HRT. They're fucking throwing it over to, oh my God, like warm sandwiches.
Mass-produced pharmaceuticals. And there are some doctors, like for example, Dr. Daniel Amen, Dr. Joe Dispenza. There are people that are saying like, okay, you can heal or prevent a lot of disease with a mindful lifestyle, with changing your food habits.
Didn't Joe Dispenza like went from crippled to walk again with just the power of his mind?
Yes, of course. We have to be careful what claims, but me personally, I fully believe everything that he talks about and he describes.
This is a doctor, by the way. This is a doctor.
Bachelor of Science.
No. This is a soon-to-be doctor that believes that you can walk again if you cripple with your mind. I want you to notice. And if you haven't watched this podcast, yes, you definitely watch this podcast because you're probably seeing this as a reel. That is an amazing hook. You watch it. Cool. Sorry,
you can heal yourself with your mind.
So no, okay. Let's backtrack to the story again.
No, but it is true. Like over the years, we've also changed in medicine in the global way of thinking. And I'm really lucky. I'm from a Western country where I learned quite a modern version of medicine. For example, we learned that the way you can communicate with your patient, you can be paternalistic, meaning you're like the father. The patient is quote unquote stupid, or they don't really know, they're ignorant, and you have to teach them. You're like the father taking care of a child.
Sure.
That was the old way of thinking. We were taught like 3 other alternative models where you can actually be like a friend to them or like an advisor, and we understand that it's like co-creation. I can't tell you, you have to take this medicine, no questions asked, but I'm like, okay, if you take this, you can have these side effects, but this is the benefit that you can have. It's up to you. You have your autonomy. Would you like to try this treatment, or would you prefer another treatment? And sometimes doctors think, and especially with the pressure of the medical system, you only have 10 minutes in an average GP consultation. And the insurance companies, because medicine is a very money-driven thing, It should be
Which
about
is
health.
fucking nuts, by the way.
How else are you gonna do it?
Medicine should be funded by the government, if anything, right?
Yes, but how is the government gonna fund it if every patient always gets their right, always gets their way?
Yeah, so here's the thing. You shouldn't look at profits with something like that. Like, honestly, I wouldn't know immediately how to fix a problem like that.
But that's how the government has to think about it,
But
because
think about it,
yeah.
though. Like, there's this huge problem, huge debate, huge thing going on. I think, oh man, what's the guy called? Mark Cuban has his own. This is the most interesting thing ever. Not sure if you noticed. Mark Cuban has his own website where he sells pharmaceuticals for the buy-in price. For the buy-in price.
Which is good.
So you have like the stuff that you need to do for your diabetes, like the insulin. He sells it for a tenth of the price to people that can't afford it, because people can't afford it. It is marked up so insanely high
Yes,
for no
yes.
specific reason at all. And this is why you say
there is a reason for profit.
yes, but why?
Martin Shkreli, you know.
People, so you're telling me that the whole world is profiting on diseases of other people,
Yes.
which is a fucked up thing to know and to say.
And those diseases are only caused by an unhealthy lifestyle that
Society is creating.
Yeah, because processed foods, because of bad working habits, darkness, no sunlight, no drinking water, no clean drinking water,
Man.
pollution through plastics, through so many other chemicals and stuff that are being used.
This is actually so dark.
But it is the reality of the world.
Of course, it is the reality of the world. But as us helpers, as us people that really want to make a change in the world, you already are sitting on some gold right now, because this is your niche. This is your place where you are. You're studying medicine, so you have so much access to all of this knowledge. All of the knowledge that I know is from literally listening to these kinds of podcasts and actually researching myself. You have studied this, so you can be the change in the world you want to see, because you've already walked this path. If you want to, I'm not here to inspire you to do so, but like, you know.
Oh, it's always been the plan. I always felt like I was put on this earth to become a healer, but you can only become that for others.
Sure, yeah.
About the parts that you've healed about yourself. So I can only help someone as far as I've come myself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so right now my body is 10 times more muscular and fit than it was when you met me. I was like a more skinny, more scrawny guy, even though I had like this one video clip where I had like a six-pack. It was a little fake. But now I understand the importance of health. I wake up drinking water.
Sorry, I just realized what you just said. Okay, keep
You
going.
were Reunion Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that was
what-
fake?
No, it was okay. It was oiled up, and it was like I pumped it up before.
Side story. He was in a boy band called the Reunion Boys. Look it up. Thank me later. See you soon back in the podcast. Okay. keep going.
Reunion Boys. Okay, but understanding the importance of health, understanding the importance of mental health, mental well-being, having a mindful, as you said, it's awareness. What am I putting in my body? Nowadays, I only eat like grass-fed steak and broccoli. And back in the day, I used to drink Coca-Cola and Sprite and eat chips all day. Now I only snack on nuts and fresh fruits.
Is this after you became a soon-to-be doctor, or is this all? Was this already happening in the transition of you developing your mind more?
It was happening in medicine already, but here's the key takeaway. With the self-development, I really learned the importance of the habits. And back then, I would just be like, I know it's bad, but I'm just gonna, I'll take it, or like, I'm gonna do it, or I just like it. The taste is so good. It feels good, it tastes good. But you taught me, hard choices, easy life, easy
life.
choices, hard life.
Yeah.
If you are willing to sacrifice watching Netflix to go to the gym, it's a hard choice you're making. You're not gonna enjoy yourself. It's gonna be difficult. But after the fact, you are not giving yourself brain fog with bullshit like series or films, and you're not getting lazy. Instead, you have an active and fit body that is healthy and is circulating and working the way it should be. So the more in love you fall with making hard choices, with taking that ice bath, putting in that extra half an hour, forcing yourself to rest when you actually feel like you want to lay down and scroll on your phone, forcing yourself not to do that is a hard choice. And it will give you all the mental clarity you need to continue.
Is it's hard choices and being conscious about making those hard choices, because this spirals back at the thing that we said at the start. Most people don't even make conscious decisions. They're still in that roller coaster that's just going loop, the loop. And you, first of all, broke free from that, started living consciously, you started making your own decisions. Sure, sometimes I can see that roller coaster is still creeping up on you, but the more you can actually start training your mind onto living consciously, you will get only further and further and further. Here's the thing. I know every single person can achieve anything in their life if they start living consciously and changing their thoughts. That is what did you say it was? The language of self-development?
Yes.
So the affirmations, the like actual positive thoughts and believing that you can thoughts. Instead of saying, I don't know if I can do this, like, I can do this. I don't know if I can be a medicine doctor and change the world. Like, I will change the world as a medicine doctor.
Or asking yourself, how will I change the world? Instead of saying, I can change it.
Instead of shutting your mind off of thinking, opening up your brain and start getting in those answers you've always needed by just actually putting yourself at the hard task of sitting down for only 10 to 20 minutes to come up with that answer. It's insane, Seyed, how much I've seen you grow. It's insane to sit down here for like over an hour or like an hour-ish and see like, wow, man, we've had this fun conversation about things we usually talk or not talk about. It's fun, man. I had a good way of reflecting with you and seeing you how you are right now. I'm proud, and I think we have to do this again soon too.
I appreciate it, bro.
Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, you've made me realize how far I've actually come. That is also something. And one time I was sitting on the other side of the camera, looking at the screen, seeing someone very inspiring speak to me. And I fully believed, because of the energy you gave me, this guy can actually show me how it's done. And now I'm sitting here a few years later, you're paying me, my life is good, making over 5 figures, going back to medicine, confidently speaking about my dreams and visions and knowing that I can get them, having the confidence that I can get them. You can do the same.
You couldn't have said it better. You can do the same thing. Because if, say, the African refugee in a war-torn country can flee, come up here, and do whatever the fuck he wants to do, then you can do that too. Say thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much, Ray, for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
And it was a very good night to everybody else too. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. You should most definitely subscribe. That was the podcast, and
Bye.